So sing along with her, God Bless America. I do like that one too.
Wow, that was impressive. Let's give her another round of applause. What a fantastic job, Sarah. All right, boys and girls, it is so nice to see you on this Monday and our first chapel all together. Look at all of those faces underneath those masks, right? All right, so it is my privilege today that I get to introduce our speaker. And boy, oh boy, I had to write it all down. What a long list of accomplishments and just a time of service, and we are so thankful for that. So, Jonathan Harmeling has graduated from the U.S. Military Academy. He has been a field artillery officer, an operations officer. He was deployed to Afghanistan and fought in 2013 and 14 to keep us safe. Captain Harmeling has served as a cyber acquisition officer and has taught at West Point, where he's graduated. And currently, he has finished his time serving, and now he works at Chick-fil-A. So let's give a warm welcome to Jonathan Harmeling.
Cool. Oh, thank you so much. Take this off. All right. Is that for the Army or for Chick-fil-A? All right, very cool. Very cool. Where is, let's see, where is Sarah that just sang? That was awesome, great job. You did such a wonderful job, which is really cool. That was all. Hey, go ahead and have a seat. Go ahead and have a seat and relax here. Which is cool. But Sarah, great job using clearly you have a gift to sing, and that was awesome. So I'm really glad that you're using your gift to praise Jesus, which is awesome. Hey, so as was mentioned, can I get my slides up here when y'all get a second, please? So as was mentioned, my name is John. I had a chance to be in the Army for a long time and had such a great time doing it. I'm actually originally from here. I was born and raised in Plantation, Florida. Has anyone heard of that? It's not too far. There you go. It's not too far away, just a few minutes away. I went to a school called Hollywood Christian. I went there for a long time, which is now part of Calvary, which is really cool. And then my last 3 years of school, I went to a school called Westminster Academy. So that's not too far away. That's just a couple miles away. I probably would have gone to CCA, but CCA wasn't a school quite yet when I was in high school, so I'm sorry I missed that. But I went from high school, had a chance to join the Army, and so what I thought would be kind of neat is maybe I could show you a few pictures that I took over the last 15 or 20 years or so of my time in the Army. Would that be okay? Okay, cool, let's do it. But first, how about a pop quiz? Oh. You already heard some of the answers from Dr. Rachel's, but what do you think are the branches of the military? If someone yell out one or two. Navy, Army, Air Force. That's right, I think we got them all. So we have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, And then there's a sixth one that just started last year. What's that? Oh, gotcha. And actually, very close. I think I heard it over here. Space Force. That's pretty cool. Space Force there. Let's see. There we go. So we got the Army, we got the Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, the Marine Corps, and then also the Space Force. So that's pretty cool. The Space Force is going to focus on things that happen where? In space, right? That's pretty neat. And so I was in this one here. This is the Army. That's where I spend my entire career there. How about another pop quiz? All right, so I'm gonna list a couple of jobs up here, and I'm curious if you guys think these are jobs that are in the Army or are not in the Army. Can you be a cook in the Army? Some yeses, some nos. How about a musician? How about an Olympic athlete? A computer hacker? Oh, okay. An animal doctor, a veterinarian? How about an insect expert? How about a TV news anchor? All right, one more. How about a drone pilot? You wanna know what's crazy? Every one of these are jobs in the Army. Isn't that wild? That's very cool. We have each one of these jobs in the Army, so that's one of the things that I think is really cool. A lot of people think of the Army as just having a very specific set of skills, but this is actually really neat. You can help with animals, you can play music, you can play sports at a very high level, and so I think that's pretty darn neat. So, this is me starting out. What am I doing? Digging a what? Digging a big old hole. And so we had to start out, and this was me digging a foxhole. And so this was one of the basic skills we learned when I first got to West Point. And so West Point's a pretty cool place. It's a college where actually they focus on helping you become a soldier. So you not only get a college degree, but at the end of that, you become a soldier in the US Army. So it's a lot of school, and it's also a lot of military skills that you learn as you go. So one of them was digging a hole. We call it a foxhole. And that helps you set up like a defense in case there's any bad guys around. And so this was all practice. There was no bad guys around. Whoa, we got to paint our faces. That's pretty cool, right? Has anyone played laser tag before? We got a couple folks. Do you guys see these black dots on top of my helmet? Those are actually laser sensors. So this day we were playing a huge game of laser tag, and we were all shooting each other with lasers, and if a laser hit one of our sensors that was all throughout our body, we were out, and we had to lay down on the ground. So that was pretty cool, right? We actually got paid to play laser tag. It's pretty neat, right? What else we got here? Anybody played with maybe smoke bombs during with fireworks? And we only use them with our parents, right? And with an adult, we'll be safe, but we also have some smoke, we call them smoke grenades. That was pretty cool. Look at all the smoke that causes there. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. One of these two people is me. I think it's the one on the left. I think that's me, and I'm wearing a what? Yeah, a gas mask. And so that helps us breathe if there's ever any type of smoke up in the air and different things. So we actually go into what's called a gas chamber, and we test our equipment to see if it works. And so our equipment works until you take the gas mask off and you realize that there's a bunch of tear gas in there, and it burns your eyes, and it starts to make your nose a little bit runny, and you start coughing and stuff. So that was pretty crazy. That was actually not the funnest day I had in the Army. That was a little bit uncomfortable when we had to test our gas masks. But they worked, and that was important. So we did a couple other cool things. This is rappelling off the side of a mountain. Is that pretty neat? Would anyone do that? Wow. A lot of young soldiers here. This is exciting. So this is rappelling off the side of a mountain. We could also rappel out of a helicopter. Oh man. That's crazy. This is pretty scary. I had a chance to do that a couple times. And so the helicopter blade is spinning, spinning, spinning. It's really loud and a lot is happening. And sometimes we don't go down a rope. Sometimes we just jump out of the helicopter, which is pretty cool. Yeah, you want to do it? Oh, a lot of recruits in here. This is great. So we actually would hit the water, and then we would maybe jump in one of our boats and we would boat around. And so we had a chance to do some pretty cool things as we were part of the military here. And so this is me. I was a cadet, as I mentioned, at West Point, the military college. This was the very last day. It took 4 years to finish that place. It was very tough. And so we had a chance to go to graduation. And this lady here was a girl I had just started dating, who's now my wife, Carrie, who's sitting right over here. And so we've been married now for a long time, for about 12 years. And so she came up to New York and was there for that graduation. And so there we are, we got married, and then soon after getting married, we had a little boy. There he is. And where is that boy today? Where does he go to school? CCA, he's in 4th grade with Miss Waddell's class, and he's sitting right there. There he is, which is cool. And so something that's pretty interesting about being a military family, there's 2 things I think make us very unique. We move a lot. In fact, before Weston turned 10 years old, he already had 10 different homes that he lived in. And so for me, for my job, I would have to move every 6 months or a year and a half. It was great for my job, but it's really tough on the family. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's kind of tough to move a lot because then you have to make new friends and go to a new school and find a new church and live in a new community. And so that can be sounds kind of cool, but that actually is kind of tough, right? And the other part that actually makes it pretty tough is we have to go on things called deployments. Have you guys heard of that? So what's a deployment? A deployment, at least the way I would define it, is where me and some of my military buddies, we would go to another country and we would help them with their security and with their military, and we would also be protecting our country. And so this was us that we had to pack up all of our bags here. These are our book bags. Do those look kind of heavy? Yeah. Yeah, these are super heavy. Could you imagine carrying that around in the hallways? You might tip over backwards, right? And that happens sometimes. So we would carry these book bags, and we would have to say goodbye to our families, and this was really tough. So this is Weston. He's a little bit older, and I think he is just starting to realize that Daddy's not leaving for just a day or two. Daddy's gonna leave for almost a whole year. And that's a really long time, right? And so we were saying goodbye to Weston here, and then we gave him a salute, and we told him, hey, I'm gonna head off and try to help the Afghan people. And by Afghan people, I mean people who live in Afghanistan. We're gonna go over there and try to help their military. We're very, very fortunate in our country that we have not only a great military, we have the best military in the whole world. And so we have a chance to go out and try to help other countries, especially ones that are friends of ours, and try to help their military be the best that they can be. And so that's where we ended up deploying. So this is the inside of a what? An airplane. It is. It's kind of crazy, right? Me and all of my buddies, we would cram into this airplane. And do you think Afghanistan's a short plane ride or a long plane ride? Look at that. Afghanistan's way over there. So here we are in Florida, right? In South Florida, and we had to fly all the way over to Afghanistan. You think that was a long flight sitting there? Yeah. Yeah, it was. The Wi-Fi on the plane wasn't too good either. So that was kind of tough. We got over there. Once we got to Afghanistan, we had a chance to jump on a helicopter, and the helicopter would take us to whatever city we were gonna be working in. So we land on the big plane, and then we get on these helicopters and fly around, and so that was pretty cool. Fortunately, we didn't have to jump out of the helicopter or slide down the ropes. We just stepped out. So that was pretty cool. So as soon as I got to my base, I ended up meeting this gentleman here. This guy's name is Mr. Mark, except I call him Sir. I call him Sir because he's a general in the Army. In fact, in this picture was taken, he's a 3-star general, Lieutenant General Milley. Now today, and especially for the older folks in the crowd, you might recognize the name General Milley. He's currently the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's the highest ranking person, not just in the Army, but in our entire country. And he works, right now today, he reports directly to the President and the Vice President of the United States. And so it was really cool to have a chance to meet him one-on-one. And he said, John, welcome to Afghanistan. I've got a hard mission for you. I want you to help the Afghan people in multiple areas. I want you and your friends and your soldiers, I want you to go and help them, their military get better. I want you to help their police force get better. I want you to help their government get better. And I want you to help their economy get better. What do I mean by economy? So some financial things and how people buy and sell and trade goods and services and money circulates, and then they're able to make the city better, make the roads better, and those type of things. So was that an easy mission or a hard mission? Yeah, some parts were very hard. Actually, most parts were very hard. It was very challenging for us. So this is us here. Let me go, there we go. So this is us right over here. We have the American soldiers are off to the right here. These two gentlemen are from the Afghan army or the Afghan military. So this is like our teammates that work in that country in Afghanistan. This gentleman here is the governor of the city or the area. We call it a province that we worked at. This gentleman here with the cool hat, that guy is the sheriff. He's the top police officer in the whole area. And this gentleman here is actually in charge of the economy that I mentioned. And so how people buy and sell different things in stores and regulations and taxes and those kind of things. So these gentlemen were extremely nice, very welcoming. They brought me and my friends in. And so we tried to figure out how do we actually serve these Afghan people. And so we got my buddy here, his name is Sergeant Flores, and he turned to all of these soldiers from Afghanistan. He said, hey guys, do you want to learn how to shoot a big gun? And what do you think they said? They said, yeah, but they said, how big is this gun? And Sergeant Flores said, how about this? Is that big enough? Whoa, that's a pretty big gun. And so this is important to know. We were just out there practicing, so we weren't shooting at anybody. In fact, we were shooting some bullets, we call them rounds. We were shooting them into a big open field. We weren't shooting at anybody, but we still wanted to practice just in case there were any bad guys. And so while we shoot this, do you think this makes a little noise or a big loud noise when it shoots? Huge, right? And so we actually have to wear some ear protection to make sure that it doesn't hurt our ears over time. And so you think it makes a loud noise? How about this? Boom. That's really loud, right? So you definitely want to wear ear protection. Now this picture I thought was pretty cool. The gun not only just shot, but actually you can see the round in the air flying towards the mountains. Can you see that on top on this right screen? And then right here? I thought that was a pretty cool picture as that thing shot out of there. Does that shoot out pretty fast? And so could you imagine being right there and have to click your camera at just the right time to capture that? That'd be kind of tough. So we did a couple other cool things. So this is called a Chinook helicopter. And so you can fit a lot of stuff inside of that, people, vehicles, those kind of things. You can also carry a lot of things underneath it. And so we would pick up a lot of this different resources, equipment, food, water, and we would move it from place to place. But why is this picture green? Not a nuclear explosion, no. The Hulk did not take this picture. This was a picture taken at nighttime, actually, and we're using special devices where we could see at night. Isn't that kind of cool? So while everybody else is sleeping, we're flying around. That helps us be kind of safe when we fly at night. Nobody can see us. So that was pretty neat. So the other thing we would do is sometimes we would drop food out from the back of these different planes. And so check this out. This is a big box of food or water or medical supplies. And what pops out on top? Yeah, parachutes, kind of like an umbrella. That's right. And so these parachutes would pop out and it would very slowly fall to the ground exactly where we want it. And our friends in Afghanistan would be able to receive these different supplies and then use them however they needed to use them. And sometimes something I thought was really neat is we actually would give supplies to the leaders in Afghanistan who would then in turn give those supplies to the people they're leading. And so that was really important for us to not give the food and water and medical supplies directly to the Afghan people. We wanted the leaders to give that to them. And so that helped these kind of relationships here with the governor and the people that he's leading. He's helping those folks. And do you think the folks were happy to receive that type of stuff from their governor? They did, and they really appreciated it, and they built a good relationship with their governor, and so that was important to us. So these are some of the vehicles we rode around in. Those are pretty cool, right? Yeah. These are some big, huge vehicles, and so sometimes it's a little bit tricky to drive them. We'd have to drive them in places like this. And so again, the vehicle's very big, right? And it's very heavy, so we can only go on very solid roads. If the roads are too soft or it's sand or dirt or mud, our vehicles can get stuck. There's also a lot of people that are walking around at these different marketplaces, and then there's also animals that are out there too that sometimes get in the way. So that was a little bit tricky, was trying to drive around town. And so sometimes if we couldn't drive, we actually would walk. And so, does anybody like going on hikes? Yeah, that's awesome. Going for a walk, going for a hike, that's all fantastic, right? This was actually a pretty tough hike. We had to go up and down mountains. It was really hot out, and you can't really tell, but we're wearing a lot of gear that really kind of puts a lot of weight on us, so we were sweating a lot. But we would walk around. This is me on the left here. So we would walk around and we would go meet with our Afghan partners, and we would go to different meetings. And so this is a meeting with all the different police officers in Afghanistan. And do you recognize that man in the front there who's talking? He's the one that had the cool hat that I pointed out a second ago. That's the chief of police, the sheriff. And so he was out there talking about what's happening in their city, and he's talking to all the different police officers in each of their areas and saying, what do you need help with? How can I help you? How can I serve you? And that's great leadership, right? To be a servant leader and focus on the people you're leading and care for them and love on them. And so this is me sitting here and I'm taking some notes. What's in my ear there? What's happening? Am I listening to music? No. So this gentleman here, because he's in a different country, happens to be speaking a different language, and I don't speak that language well enough to understand him. So that's right, I heard it from over here. Nice job. Somebody is actually translating everything this gentleman's saying, and he's speaking into a microphone that I can hear in my ear, so I understand what's going on. In fact, here's another meeting that we had here. Here's myself. This is our translator here. So his whole job is he would go to these meetings, he would listen to them speak in their local language, and then he would translate it into English for all of us English speakers. So if you think about it, to do that at the same time can actually be really hard, to listen and speak, and to listen in one language and speak in another. So that was pretty cool. So we would also go to these different meetings and we would sit at the table with these folks. And this is a map here, and we would go over, what are the operations that are coming up? Where are the police going, and what's happening? What's the red box? Oh, you're right. Yeah, that red box there. Yeah, that's a great question. So we have certain individuals that we work with. We call them special forces. Have you guys ever heard of those people? So special forces are really cool men and women. They're incredibly intelligent. They're incredibly athletically fit. And they're very, very good at their job. And we usually send them on the most dangerous missions that we have. And so one of the things that we try to do is to protect them, that nobody gets to see their face and nobody kind of knows their name. And that way they can sneak around and do what they need to do their mission without having any extra danger. Does that kind of make sense? And so I thought it was good to kind of cover his face, because I don't want everyone to see his face. But I don't know, he was a pretty cool guy. I don't think he would mind if I showed his face. Do you want to see his face? You want to see it? There he is. Yeah, as my friend Tony, he's pretty cool. A lot of folks call him Iron Man, but he was really cool. So he went on a lot of missions with us, which is really neat. And if he wasn't there, Captain America was there, which is pretty cool. Am I just kidding? I'm just kidding. It's not Iron Man. But that actually was a Special Forces soldier, so we'll go ahead and move on. This was kind of a cool meeting. This gentleman here, he's an expert farmer. And so that's something I didn't grow up doing a lot was farming and livestock and animals and crops and those kind of things. But that's very, very important in their culture. And so this gentleman flew all the way from America to Afghanistan to work with these individuals who are all farmers. And he helped them learn about the best techniques to help raise livestock and grow crops and have a successful business, because if they succeed, their families succeed and their community succeeds. So that was pretty cool to have him out. We would have a chance to have some food and some snacks. Here's another shot of some of the food that we would have. And so I'm not quite sure what's in the bowl that we ate. And so there was a lot of different things that were in there. I think this dish here is a type of rice that they would enjoy. They would have some fruit and some bread. And so it was very important whenever we were offered food by the locals that were there, we always wanted to receive the food and eat the food. We didn't want to upset them or hurt their feelings, even if it was something maybe we didn't care for or maybe didn't make us feel too well after eating it. So we would always eat everything that they gave us. And so when I was here, do you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about getting back home and going to my favorite restaurant. Do you know what my favorite restaurant is? That's right, yeah. I like Chick-fil-A, so this made me think about it. I was excited to get back home and have some chicken there. So I started to miss home a little bit, right? I had been in Afghanistan for almost a year. I was missing home, I was missing family, and some of those kind of things. It was very challenging while we were out there. And so somebody sent me a Miami Dolphins hat, and for the first time in many years, I had hair on my head when I wore this hat. So check that out, that's pretty cool. And so I enjoyed watching the Miami Dolphins. That was my favorite football team. a couple other things that happened. And so we had some folks that would send us some stuff for Christmas, and that was really special. We missed Christmas when we were away from our families. And then do you see all these cards that are off to the side that are all pinned up there? Let's see, that was sent by my good friend. Her name's Miss Edith Harrison, and she had her class send us a bunch of cards for Christmas, and it was very, very special for me and my friends. And I'm not sure if she's here right now. Is she here somewhere, Miss Harrison? Back there? There she is, all the way in the back corner. So, yeah, we can clap, absolutely. Absolutely. So Miss Harrison had her class, which actually might be some of you a little bit older that are here. If you ever wrote a card and sent it to Afghanistan, me and my friends received it. So thank you very much. That was very special for us. And thank you, Edith, for you and sending all of that. Some other people sent some other things to us. This is my favorite snack was Oreos. So I really love these Oreos. There's 10 packs in here. How long do you think that lasted me? 2 days, that's right. It lasted me 2 days. I ate them very quickly. I brushed my teeth every time though. So, a couple more pictures and then we'll close here. So this is Weston here, and it's a little bit tough to see, but he's looking at me on a computer. We're doing FaceTime, and that was a chance for me to try to wish him happy birthday. So that was something that was really sad for me, was to miss out on things like birthdays and those kind of things. And so here's our Christmas, there you go. There's our Christmas card one year. We thought it'd be kind of cool. I'm holding up the sign Mary from Afghanistan, and my wife and son are holding up the rest of the sign, Christmas, from home, which at that point we were in Virginia. So that was kind of cool, but that's something I just wanted to share. I think it's really special that we appreciate veterans and those who serve, because it's a very unique career to choose, and there's times when you miss a lot of major family events like birthdays and Christmases and graduations and those kind of things. So I was ready to come home, and this is a very cool shot. You know why? We were on this helicopter and we were going home, and we were super excited to get back home. It had been almost a year since we'd seen our family. There you go. So this was really special. We had finished our mission. We had people that came and replaced us, and so there were other soldiers and military folks, and we had them step into those roles. And so we were very excited to finally go home. And so something that was really cool is my wife actually had a great idea, and she made it very special as a countdown for when I got home. And so this was the countdown here, starting at 8 months. There was 8 months left till Daddy got home, and then there was 7 months left, and then 6. Yeah, that was cool, right? That was cool. That was a very special day for us because all the families had a chance to get back together. And do you think we were super excited to see our families? Yeah, absolutely. And so that was really cool. And there's a picture that we all took together. And this was in, where were we? Louisiana, that's right. Sorry, we moved a little bit. So this picture was taken in Fort Polk, Louisiana, which is pretty cool spot there. So, what's the biggest lesson learned? There's so many different lessons and so many different things I wanted to pass along to you folks. However, there's one thing that really stood out to me and really could be just summed up in the word thankfulness. And I think there's a lot that comes into that. And so what do I mean by thankfulness? It's not only just something we celebrate during Veterans Day to thank veterans or because it's Thanksgiving coming up. But I think it's really important to appreciate a lot of the things that we enjoy and I think we maybe even take for granted. And so Jesus, I think, is obviously extremely important, that we should be thankful for Jesus, but there's places in our world where if you say you love Jesus and you pray and you worship and you read your Bible, where actually you can get in trouble and you can get punished. Does that happen here in our country? It doesn't. No. In fact, are you able to pray in your classrooms? Yeah. Are you able to worship Jesus? Yeah, absolutely. And you can read your Bible. And so I think that's something that we should be extremely thankful for. I think we should be thankful for America. And so sometimes we don't know how good we have it until we go somewhere else and then we're missing something. So let me give you 2 quick examples of this. Take a second and think about your classrooms right now. If you need to close your eyes and just kind of look around your classroom, the desks, the seats, the decorations, the computers, your teacher's desk. And then look at this classroom that we came across over in Afghanistan. It's a little bit different from your classroom, right? A little bit different from the classroom I went to when I was your age. And so there is absolutely nothing wrong with this classroom and with this school, right? these boys and girls are extremely happy to be learning and learning how to read and write and math and science and everything you all are learning. But look at their classroom. It's a lot different than ours, right? Is there even a roof over their heads? There's not. What if it's bad weather? What if it's hot? Where do they, to sit on the floor like that might get comfortable after a while. And so again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I just want to make sure we all appreciate all of the things that we enjoy in this country. And so here's another picture of a classroom. What is this? Yeah, somebody said it. So this was actually a bathroom. This was the toilet that we saw that was over there. This is the cleanest one that we saw. And so this was actually, and so just appreciating things like having a restroom that has running water and a place where you can wash your hands and get something to drink and know it's not gonna make you sick. These are all just kind of simple things. Has anyone ever maybe prayed to Jesus and said, thank you for running water and for bathrooms? It's kind of a unique prayer, but that's something I just want to make sure is that we really appreciate these things. And sometimes when you see places that don't have it, that's when we realize how fortunate we are. Family was something, so unfortunately I spent almost a year away from my family and missed a lot of those events. So for those of you who have different family in your lives, brothers, sisters, moms, dads, especially if you have grandparents, take extra time and pause video games, maybe set aside some TV and talk to them. Ask them about their childhood, ask them different questions. And I think that's really important, is to enjoy your family while we're all together here. Food, as I mentioned, we really missed a lot of the food from back home, but that was something I was very thankful for, was being able to go to a grocery store and have access to water. I would imagine most people are probably gonna have food and water, at least something to drink here today. And that's something we should be very, very grateful for sure. And then school, and this is the last part here I just wanted to say, is that you all, and this is really important that everyone hears me on this, you all are at one of the best, if not the best school in our country. And so that's very important that you hear that. This is an incredible school and an incredible opportunity. And in fact, for the teachers who are out here, are there any teachers that pray for their students at all? There's a good chance that every one of your teachers right now are raising their hand, and that's really important. Isn't that amazing? They love you and they care for you so much that they're willing to pray for you. And so anyways, I just put this up. That's our family picture that we took, the last one we took before I finished up my time in the Army. But this is my email and cell phone, especially for the teachers and any folks. If you want to jot it down or just send me a note, if there's something I could do to help out your class or your family, let me know, or I have a card, or we'll find each other afterwards. But I just want to say thanks for letting me come up here. Hopefully there's a couple things that were kind of interesting for you. So thanks so much. Happy Veterans Day week. That's me. You got it?
Wow, boys.